What's up, true believers? It's time to talk about Marvel. There's five things that I want to go over for the June 2018 solicitations that I think are going to make a big impact on Marvel's comic books. What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is a solicitation review where I go over the future of Marvel Comics. So what's coming out in June 2018 is a big deal to me, and hopefully it'll be a big deal to you. So make sure you subscribe to get more of these every single month, and hit me up in the comments and like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff to let me know if it's something that you want me to do more often. The book that I want to talk about first is Thor #1. So Thor #1 was introduced and teased a while ago, but we get a brand new logo redesign, and we get art from Mike Del Mundo, which was teased a little while ago as well. But the big focus for Thor #1, not just his brand new arm, not just his brand new hammer, but the fact that we're going to get a King Thor story from Christian Ward in issue #1, and then he's going to be back in issue #5 and issue #6 to continue to tell the story of King Thor. So while the main Thor story is going to focus on the War of the Realms as well as the hunt for Asgardian artifacts, this is going to be a great backup story that's going to focus on the future of the God of Thunder, and I'm really excited about that one. Then for #2, we want to talk about the Fantastic Four, or at least the two members of the Fantastic Four that we see in comics right now. So you've got the Human Torch and Ben Grimm's The Thing. So they actually get two books in June 2018, which includes Marvel 2-in-1 Annual #1, which brings Dr. Doom back into the fold as the infamous Iron Man and reintroduces the Council of Reeds, which is a pretty fantastic piece of Jonathan Hickman's run. And then in the main book, we actually see them escape from the previous world where Doom was Galactus. And if you want to check out more about Doom Galactus, I've got a card up there that's going to show you a lot more about that, but overall it's just a badass story. And when we take Doom Galactus, we save that universe and then jump them into a new one. They're ruled by the Spider at this point in time. So the real key is it looks like every single arc for Marvel 2-in-1 is going to be a new transition into a brand new universe until they actually come to the culmination where the Fantastic Four arrives. So if you've been sleeping on Marvel 2-in-1, go grab it right now, because it's probably the best Fantastic Four book, and it's dealing with the Marvel cosmology, the Marvel multiverse, and it's one of the most exciting things that you can really deal with because it's such a fresh place for ideas. One of my recommendations, and a big #2 for the Fantastic Four. When we get over to #3, it's actually about the three characters that aren't here versus the ones that are. So Marvel's Miles Morales Spider-Man ended in issue #240 with the ending of Brian Michael Bendis' run, so the only time that you're really going to see Miles Morales inside the Marvel Universe right now is inside Champions, and also possibly in a cameo role inside Venom #3. And that's not necessarily the only character. You've got Falcon, which is going to have his series end, so there's no Falcon solicited for June 2018, and then you've also got the removal of the totally awesome Incredible Hulk. So Amadeus Cho's version of the Hulk, which has been running for the last 2.5 years or so, is no longer going to be running, but we're going to continue to see Amadeus Cho's Hulk as well as Miles Morales Spider-Man inside Champions. So if you like Champions, Champions is the place you can go to see those characters, as well as Vivision, Nova, Ironheart. So there's a bunch of different people that are going to be making their way over to the Champions team that is really going to kind of compress a lot of other books that might not have necessarily been the most successful for Marvel. Now that we're down to #4, let's talk about books that maybe have 4, 5, or 6 issues, and that is miniseries. Marvel is back into miniseries in a huge way. So instead of trying to launch a brand new property that they're going to continue for 10, 20, 30, 40 issues, or at least that's the idea, what they're doing is they're concentrating on very tight storytelling in a very small window of somewhere between 4, 5, and 6 issues. You already saw this in Phoenix Resurrection. Currently, you've got New Mutants Dead Souls, and there's no exception to what kind of different, small, compartmentalized stories we're going to be getting out of the Marvel Solicits. Just to give you an idea, we've got Matthew Rosenberg's The Multiple Man, we've got Deadpool Assassin, which is from Cullen Bunn and illustrated by Mark Bagley, and there's a number of other miniseries that are going to be making their way into the Marvel Universe. They're there to showcase a bunch of different concepts or ideas, or at least give authors an opportunity to kind of tell their story and then test the waters for maybe the rejuvenation or the resurgence of other characters. I'm, for one, think that it's a great initiative for publishing simply because it doesn't necessarily water down the story like a lot of run-on series can. You know, once you get past that first blockbuster 1 or 2 stories, sometimes series fall off the face of the earth. Or they lose a writer, they change creative teams. So if you're looking to tell a super powerful and concise story, a miniseries is the way to go. So I really applaud Marvel for doing this. So that's #4. When we jump into #5, we're talking about the reuniting of the original Avengers. We did get the solicitation for Avengers #1, which is going to be coming in May of 2018, but all the new Avengers, all the original Avengers, actually get their own brand new #1s inside this month. So we get Thor #1 from Jason Aaron, we get Tony Stark Iron Man #1, which is written by Dan Slott, that's going to be replacing the Invincible Iron Man. We get the Immortal Hulk #1 coming from Al Ewing, and then on top of that we get Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a combined #1, which is telling the stories of Scott Lang and Nadia Pym. at this point in time. So all 5 original Avengers, they all get their own books, even though they're not necessarily, you know, Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym, but still the Ant-Man, Wasp, Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man, all those original Avengers get their own #1s. However, there are a number of #1s that are coming out in this month. We've got Doctor Strange #1, you've got the Sentry #1. There are so many different titles that are getting started because Refresh is about to hit its stride. Of course, there are some big books coming out in July, but we'll talk about those next month. You know, with Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America and all the different writer shakeups on that one. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, but I want to know what you guys think about these brand new #1s, all these new titles, this Fantastic Four book, all these different mini-series, and of course, how you love the God of Thunder. So hit me up in the comments down below and we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.